Welcome to another edition of Tiffin Cast. Today I'm joined by Kirk Mastin of Mastin Studios, originally from Seattle and now visiting San Francisco. Kirk, thanks for joining us again. I know this is the second time we're trying to talk. The connections were pretty brutal last time, and I hope it holds up this time.
Oh yeah, me too.
All right. One of the challenges a wedding photographer faces is coming up with ideas for portraits, and this is right after the ceremony. I'm always, looking at your work, I was curious, what well of inspiration do you depend on for the images you come up with? Like, where do you find those images for you? Like,
it's a combination of things. I would say it's a mix of like logical planning and then inspiration that I draw from other places. So one thing that I've learned over the years that's really, really important is that I need to understand the place that I'm shooting. So like what the light's going to be like, where all the best places are. Mm-hmm. And that usually means working months ahead of time on a timeline with a couple that, first of all, puts me in the best light of the day for that part. That should never be left to chance. And then getting to the venue early and actually not even pulling out my camera. Sometimes I don't even tell the couple that I'm there. I'm just there to soak in the environment and make kind of a rough plan, so that when I have that time with the couple, I know exactly where to go. But the inspiration comes from a lot of art that I've studied. Or when I was a lot younger, I was into painting, so I studied a lot of classical art. I really like pre-Raphaelite artwork, and if you look up some of that, it's very romantic and very elegant and timeless, I guess. And I get a lot of inspiration from that. So if you were to look at some of that kind of artwork and then look at some of my compositions, there's some similarities there. And then a little part of it is just like intuition. It's like just a tiny little itch in the back of my brain, just a tiny flash of an image, and I just try to go with it. So, yeah.
Very cool. On your website, you say a fine art photo is a combination of the environment, the subject, and the raw emotion of the moment. How is that different from wedding photojournalism?
Well, wedding photojournalism, the way I understand it, is that you're not an active participant. You're really just observing. And when I started, I come from a newspaper and magazine background. I came with that idea that that's the best photography, is just being a fly on the wall and capturing real moments. And that is really good photography. That's really great to be able to do that. But I think fine art photography is more of an approach with an intention. So you are inserting yourself, your vision in a different way. You're an active participant. You have to play out what's really there, what's the real things that are happening in front of you. But to get everything to line up and to have that perfect shot, I mean, for that just to happen without you inserting yourself is like a 1% chance. And so everything that you can do to make sure that people are in the right place at the right time, or, I mean, I move furniture around in rooms like all the time. I always joke that I'm like part interior decorator and part photographer. Mm-hmm. Doing those things to make the picture better, it's really important. And then the other really critical key part that I learned only a few years ago was that the reality is most people have never been in front of a camera before professionally, and what they're going to do is they're just going to smile, because that's the only thing they know what to do in front of a camera. And a smile is not always the best representation of what's happening. When you're talking about love or emotion. Sure. And so, yeah, sometimes I just tell people just to kind of relax. Like, you don't have to smile. Just kind of like let yourself go a little bit and feel the wind on your skin. Just kind of bring them out of that mask that they're going to put on.
Absolutely.
And just stepping in and doing a little bit of directing helps a lot. So moving a hand, turning someone just a little bit because you can see what angle they're going to look best at, but then at the same time not controlling things so much that you're squeezing out the real moment. So it's kind of a combination of the two.
Right. Now, I know you use film instead of the digital medium. You know, the prospect of buying and processing film now looks somewhat bleak. I mean, you know, Kodak is going out of business. Your only options are probably Fuji, right? What are your thoughts about how your business is going to evolve if film is to completely go away or get so expensive that, you know, in turn, if you were to, you're going to probably have to share those costs with your clients at some point in some way.
Yeah.
Are you afraid you're going to price yourself out of the market?
No, not at all. I mean, I don't sell myself as a film photographer, really. I mean, it's just a tool that gets the look that I want, and really what I'm selling is my vision, my art, my approach. So if film were to disappear, then I would just adapt. But I think it looks like film is disappearing, but really what's happening is that I think there's going to be a renaissance in film. And here's Kirk's prediction for 2013, is that film is going to be the new hot trend. It's been kind of bubbling under the surface for a while, and people have played around with actions and presets, and no one's really satisfied, and I think it's going to be the big thing. Right. And that's awesome. I've already been doing it for a while. I'll do it through the trend and through the end of it.
You'd be one of the leaders, I'm sure.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I learned everything from other people, so I don't know if I can claim to be a leader, but I love it, and I do love sharing what I know about it.
Excellent. Excellent.
So anyone can ask me anything they want on Formspring, and I'm happy to answer.
Excellent.
But the last thing about Kodak is that don't think it's going away. Almost every film that won a major award this year was shot on film. And the film industry alone is going to keep at least a few film stocks going for the next 10 to 15 years, at least. So I don't think it's going anywhere. I just think that some of the less popular films are going to be discontinued, like slide film, for example. So I'm not worried about it. And in fact, I've invested a lot in film. I even bought my own scanner.
What kind did you get? Because I'm looking for one right now.
I bought a Fuji Frontier. So it's the same scanner that everyone is just crazy about, and what I've enjoyed using for the last few years. It's an old scanner, but it's got a great look.
How much does it set you back?
I don't know if I should tell. I don't know, less than a D4 or whatever, like, so less than a really nice camera body.
Okay.
Okay. So not, I mean, we spend a lot of money as photographers, so our value of money is like totally skewed.
Yes, it is.
But
it is.
But yeah.
Engagement sessions or weddings, what challenges you the most? Is it one or the other? Or both? They both are challenging, and you just find your way out.
I think a wedding is more of like an endurance contest. I mean, it's a really long event, and you know, I'm always trying to outdo myself from the last wedding, so I'm really like trying to nail like all these different kinds of shots that I would like to get to make like the perfect set of photos. Mm-hmm. But what's nice about a wedding is that all the creative direction is pretty much already taken care of by the time you arrive. So things are going to look how they look, right, and the location is already chosen. But on the other hand, an engagement is more of like a sprint. It's like you've got a few hours and there's a lot of preparation you've done beforehand, and you've got to think really, really hard creatively and flex that creative muscle really hard over a short amount of time. Because a good engagement session is way more than showing up at a park and just like, all right, we're going to do an engagement session, let's do it. I mean, for me, it's like, what do I know about the couple? We've talked already. How can we incorporate something that means something to them, mm-hmm, and make it unique, totally unique? And then there's like working on wardrobe and picking the right weather and time and all this stuff.
Excellent.
So it's like a compressed little ball of creativity. Right. And a wedding is like this really long day where you're just like shooting tons of photos and you're getting just distilling it down to like a nice little set. Excellent. So.
I love that image of Amy and Eric that you created in Magnuson Park in Seattle. We've talked about this image before. She's holding a mirror with Eric's reflection. My jaw dropped when I saw it because it's such an unusual image. And can you tell us how it came about? How did that image come about? You walking around with a mirror in your hand, or what's going on?
So the idea for the mirror shot came from two different things that kind of connected in my mind all of a sudden. One was I was listening to music on Last FM, and a Peter Gabriel old song came on, and on the cover art it was like him with the mirror, and you could kind of see through him. The second part came from these paper tree forests in Washington, where it's these perfectly planted trees. It looks the same in every direction. And I've always admired those forests, and I thought it'd be cool to shoot in them. And I thought, well, if someone was holding a mirror, and it looks the same in every direction, it would look as almost like you're looking through them, or you could see the forest in them. So I went to IKEA and I bought these mirrors, and I put them in my car, and I took them to every engagement shoot for the whole year, waiting for that right time. And when I was out with Eric and Amy, we stumbled into one of these forests. So I said, do you guys want to try it? And they were up for anything. They were a great couple. I love couples that are up for anything. And we got out the mirrors, and I thought, well, it'd be even cooler if you could see your partner inside of the other person.
Yeah.
So we just got everything lined up just perfect, and I could get just out of the frame, right, so you didn't see me in the mirror.
Okay.
And yeah, and it worked out, and it was cool. And so it was a fun experiment.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Kirk. I know you've spent a good amount of time trying to connect with me. You're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. It's not easy, and I know you have a 14-month-old now. And as a father of 2 kids, I know we're juggling a lot. So thanks so much for making the time again. I hope we can put this recording together and have it on the website in the next week or so.
Sure.
And I will be in touch with you to get some pictures so that we can post those as well.
Okay,
Sound good?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much again for your time.
My pleasure.